What's up guys, it's Shadow Codes here, and in today's video we are going to make a VR game. In this tutorial we are going to cover basic hand movement and head movement, but we'll eventually go to like server replication and movement. So let's start the tutorial. So you're going to want to start adding a part, and you're going to want to, change the size to like 1 by 1 or something fairly small. No, you don't. This is going to be the head of the player. You can honestly just scale it up however you want, anytime you want. So I am just going to change the transparency here to like 0.5, maybe a little lower. No. Can't even see it. Alright, I think that's good. This is going to be the head of our player. So now you just want to duplicate that. Just bring it like right under here. And I would change it to 0.5. And you might want to change the color. I'm going to change it to blue. And then you do the same thing and make it red. Alright, so that's going to be the character for now. I think probably soon we're going to want to add like the head to have faces and accessories, but for now this is going to work perfectly fine. You should probably name your parts accordingly, so I'm going to name this right hand. I'm going to name this head. And I'm going to name this left hand. Then you're going to want to group it. And we can just call this player. So now that we have our player model, we're going to want to anchor it for now, but we are not done making it. If we were to put this into our starter player and name it starter character, you're going to get a bunch of errors. That's the player down there, guys. Your camera doesn't work. You can't walk. You can't do anything. And you're gonna see you have a lot of errors. What we're gonna want to do to start fixing these, we're gonna add health and animate into our actual player. Because if you go into the starter character scripts, the starter player scripts and whatnot, it's just gonna give it. If you go into the actual player, you're gonna see we have health and animate, but since there's no humanoid root part, these scripts are just gonna fail. So you're gonna want to copy them from the player, and you're gonna want to stop the game. Probably get rid of the output if you would like, but I recommend keeping it open. So now that you have them, we're just gonna put them. Actually, I don't think we even need to get rid of them. We should probably just Control-Shift-V. Oh, Control-Shift-V. Or actually, better yet, you'll want to put them. Well, if you were able to copy them correctly, which I was not able to, you're gonna want to put them into starter character scripts. Now, inside of the scripts, you're going to want, in the animate script, you're going to have all of these things. Just delete them. There's no point in having them there. And then go inside the animate script, Control A, and just backspace. You do not need anything in there. Same for the health script, because you really just do not need it. So now that we have that, we should be getting a lot less errors. Of course, they're still needing like the humanoid root part and stuff, but we really just don't need that for the VR game. So now we're actually going to start getting into the scripting part. You're going to want to put a script into starter player scripts. We're going to put a local script in, or we're just going to call it VR clients. So what we need to start doing first is we're going to need to add our services. So up at the top, we're going to do user input service. So user input service equals game get service user input service, right? We also are going to need run service, so you just do the same thing. Local run service equals game get service run service. Then we are going to need VR service, which might be helpful for a VR game. We're also going to need replicated storage. Actually, you know what? We don't need replicated storage, but we will need starter GUI. So now that we have all of those, we're probably going to need the player and character. And actually, we're gonna probably want to put this into the character script. So we're gonna do local player equals game players local player. So it's the player for who the script is running for. We're gonna need the character, which is super easy because since it's in starter character scripts, it's just gonna be script the parent. Now I think we can start with if VR service the VR enabled is true. Let's just print player dot name as joined in VR, right? So because my computer can't really run Link, I'm gonna actually have to play this in Roblox, but there's tutorials on how to link your Quest or whatever VR to your Roblox studio, so I suggest using one of those because what I do is really not the best. So obviously, if you played your game and you checked the output, you should have seen it printed that join in VR, and if it didn't, then your code's probably wrong. So now what we're going to do is we're going to make it so that if you play your game, you should see your controller models and you should see your like the lasers coming from it. But if you don't want to see that, if you don't want to see that stuff, we're gonna use starter GUI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do starter GUI set core and what we can do is we'll do VR laser pointers and the or actually sorry VR laser pointer mode 0, right? So that just makes them invisible, and basically the set core, the starter GUIs, if you've ever done UI, it's this, and it's what you start with, but it also handles some of the stuff like the Roblox menu and the VR controllers and all that other stuff. It handles a bunch, and you can set certain things to be enabled or disabled or whatever, right? So we're going to do the same thing, but instead of the laser pointer, we're going to do the controllers. So VR enable controller models, like so. And you'll want to do false, so that will make them disappear. So what you're gonna want to do next is, just to help with the setting up, you're gonna want to reset the user C-frame. So it just makes it so that whenever you join the game, if you're looking at your door, you'll be facing your door in the game, and then, whatever, so that you're not like forced to start at a wall. I mean, this is optional, but it helps when you're loading in your game. And then, oh right, let's up here we're gonna want to add a camera. So actually, I'm gonna put it below the stuff to deal with the player and character. So local camera equals the workspace dot current camera. Then we're gonna do camera dot head scale. So when you're using VR, your head scale is the scale of your head, if that makes any sense. Oh, we don't have a head scale, do we? Well, that's no good. I think what we're just gonna do, just equals 1. You can change this to literally whatever you want, but you know, make it 2, but 1 is fine. It's not gonna really change a whole lot. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do VR service dot user C-frame changed connect function, and then inside of here you could do I you can't do type. Oh, I guess you can. Usually I just do state. You could also do type. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna do state. That's kind of really what it is. And then you have the C frame. And I'm actually gonna change that to lowercase. And then you're gonna want to get the C frame of each of your body parts. So you want to do local right hand C frame equals VR service. Oh, I did two. Oh no. VR service get user C frame, and then it would be enum dot user C frame dot right hand. So there's left hand, right hand, head, and then floor, which I assume is your floor's height. Like, because in VR you're able to set your floor height. I'm pretty sure that just does the same thing, essentially. So you'd want to do the same thing for left hand and head. So I'm just going to change this to left and left. And then here you just do head C-frame. Now, that's useful for getting the starting positions, like when you... That it's useful for that, but you're gonna need to do something in accordance with the head and make it better, right? So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna track the final C frame, which is what actually gets tracked. So, we'll just do right hand final C frame, and this is equal to C frame.new camera dot C frame dot position times C frame.new parenthesis right hand C frame dot position minus, that's an equal sign, minus head C frame dot position time, oh no, times, yet again, head scale. Which, believe it or not, is multiplied yet again by C frame dot from Euler angles XYZ right hand C frame to Euler angles XYZ. So that was a lot to type. Thankfully, you only have to type it once because now you can just copy and paste it. And then you just change all the stuff to left hand C frame. Left hand C frame. And then just change this to left. That says RL left. What? Left. So that looks good. And then for the head final C frame, that I forgot to add the local it's so easy. You don't have to type all of that out because it's just camera.cframe. It's just that. So now, after all of that, you do right hand.cframe, cframe is equal to right hand final cframe. Left hand, we don't have a right or a left hand, do we? That makes sense. So that's my bad. Up here, you want to do a local. Do not forget the locals. Right hand equals character. Wait for child. Right hand. And you'll want to do the same thing for left and for head. So left hand, head. Make absolute sure that these go with what you had typed in your actual player. So mine's head, that's his head. That's left hand, that's left hand. That's right hand, that's right hand. So now, there you go. That C-frame equals left hand final C-frame. And then head at C-frame equals, believe it or not, head final C-frame. Now, there is one more thing we want to do. It's going to be down here. And it's going to be run service dot render stepped connect function. You're not gonna need the delta time. It doesn't matter. That's just the change in the time. You don't need that at all. You just want camera dot headlocked equals false, and camera dot camera type equals enum dot camera type dot scriptable. Then you'll do local Etsy. Actually, you can literally just copy it from up here. You're gonna want the same thing, and then camera dot cframe equals cframe dot new. And what this is doing is this is going to add an offset, so we can come up here, we can do local cam offset equals 5 or 6 are good numbers for a typical VR game. You can obviously go taller, shorter, however you want for your VR game. So note 0, comma, camera offset, comma 0 times cframe dot new head cframe dot position times cframe dot angles head cframe to Euler angles xyz. So now that you have this should be all you need to start your VR game. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna test it. And it works. We have our hands moving quite well. And if I move around in real life, my head moves around. So it's actually working pretty well. I think in the next video we're gonna work on making server replications so that even though you can't really move, you can still play with your friends and it will update on the server. Because right now, the client still sees you as your character model on probably right there, not doing much of anything really. So this is a step up from that. So it doesn't look like there's any errors. Okay, so there was one error, but I mean, apart from that, it works fine. So I know that the error's a little bit upsetting, but I mean, this is the start to a real, fully fledged VR game. So if you'd like to see more VR tutorials, then consider liking and subscribing because there will be more. Alright, well, have a good day, night, afternoon, morning, I don't know, but whatever it is for you right now, have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.